Hi friends, welcome to Tabletop Tonight. Today I'm looking at my top 10 party games. So let's jump right into it. My number 10 is a new, I would say a new modern classic, Codenames. And now this game, oh boy, it is fantastic. And as you can see here in the video, I'm playing with Tim Reel, who does Codenames live. This is every Monday on his Twitch channel. And Ray from CGE's there, as well as some other friends. You see Naveen from Before We Play. We played this online, and Codenames, folks, it is a word game. It's a team-based game, and I think this works well at parties because it's really easy to pick up. And most of these games on this list are going to be really rules light, so you don't want to get into like a deep strategy game with a lot of like casual new gamers, right? Because once you're like 10 minutes into a teach, like me personally, I'm out. Just if I want to do a casual party game, give me the rules and a couple of in less than a minute or two. And Codenames is like that, where you're trying to guess words that are, there's blue team, red team. You're trying to get yours if you're the blue team. There are some innocent bystanders, and those are the ones that aren't for any team. And then there's the brilliant addition of the assassin. That's the one word you do not want your team to guess, because then game is over, the other team wins. Now what you're doing is giving a clue, a one-word clue to figure out the one-word answer here, and then you're giving a number. That number represents how many words that your clue is talking about. And so you're trying to get as many as possible. Like on the screen here, you have stuff like Antarctica, New York, spike, belt, drone, China, whatever. Like if I said cold too, maybe I'm pointing towards Antarctica and New York. But then there's the word Viking. Vikings were cold, right? There's also the word storm. So you don't really know. So it's that process of like, ooh, what's my clue giver thinking about here, and how are they thinking, and which words they're going to do. So then your team makes guesses. You point at a word, it's like, okay, here's our guess. You flip it over. It's a blue clue. If you're the blue team, yay, you get a point. If it's a red clue, or if it's an innocent bystander, no, you don't get a point. The red team would get a point if it's a red one, and then you end your turn. If you hit the assassin, of course, the game is over. So you're trying to be the first, I think it's to get 8 words or whatever. Really fantastic game. This was a huge hit when it came out back in 2015 by Vlada. I could never say the designer's name, Savaltil. He designs heavier stuff like Through the Ages, and so he's got a wide range of games, and Codenames is a brilliant game, and it's actually crossed over to the mainstream. You can get this at Target and other big box stores, and there's a reason for that, because it's a huge hit, and I highly recommend all these games, but Codenames is a great one to start with. That's why it's our number 10 on our top 10 party games list. Let's move on. Let me see what's next on the rankings here. It is number 9, Don't Get Got. Folks, this game is hilarious. I would call this more of a meta game. So this is a game that you play while playing other games. And I think it's perfect for the holidays because, even folks who don't play games, you just give them one of these cards. You're trying to complete missions. I think it's 3 missions on a little card. Everyone's got different ones. And you can see here in the video, one of the missions here, this gentleman has, hide this card in a jar, get a player to open it. I mean, how fun is that? And there, you can see in the video there, aha, I got you. You just got. So then if you get someone to do one of your missions, you mark it down there. It is nailed it. Put it in your little wallet. Everyone gets a wallet to keep it in. And it looks like I think you do 3, I don't know how many it is, but it's hilarious. And for gamers, this is so great. This is such a great game. And in fact, if I go to PAX U, I would love to play this. This is like the perfect convention game because you're just doing these weird things and you try to get people to get them. And then when you got, boom, they, you get to say, hey, I nailed it. Now, if they catch you, instead of nailing it, you failed it. So then it's like, if they say, hey, you're trying to get me, huh? You say, oh, yeah. So you got. And then that means that you do not get the point. It is so much fun. The last time I played this was actually pre-pandemic. So now things are opening up again during, as long as we're being safe, you can totally play this at a convention or at a family gathering. I think it works well for, all ages. Like, it's just, as long as you can read and sort of understand the concepts, it's really easy to, hey, read this, don't tell anyone. And then if you get them to do something, then you're going to get a point. You just mark it down. It is one of the funnest games ever. And again, it's one of those things, you can play it while playing another game. Like, you can be deep in another game and just randomly talk to someone and then get them to do something. the best feeling in the world. It's so much fun. Great game from Big Potato. That is Don't Get Got. My number 9 party game. Okay. Next up, number 8, Blank Slate. I love word games, and this is one of my favorite word games, Blank Slate. Very simple to teach. There is our friend Rodney Smith from Watch It Played teaching the game. This is cards, simple cards. You're just trying to you're just filling in blank, therefore blank slate. So in this example that Rodney's doing, star blank, what would you put? He put Star Trek. Everyone writes secretly, then you reveal them simultaneously. I would put Star Wars, of course. So that anyone that matches, you're going to get points based on those matches. Okay, so you got more points if you match with one person. You get fewer points if you match with multiple people, and you get 0 points if you don't match with anyone. That's it. That's Blank Slate, folks. You just that's it. It's a wonderful game. This one was so I've got to bring this up. My top 10 list, friends. This is number 7 out of 12. I'm doing 12 weeks of gift guides. They're all top 10s. Every single game I'm doing on my top 10s are different. They're unique. So a game that could have easily been on here, and it reminds me of this a little bit, is Green Team Wins. I love Green Team Wins. It came out this year from 25th Century. It made one of my other lists, top 10 first games in a collection. It should have been on this list, honestly, but I'm not repeating games. Therefore, Blank Slate in itself is a great game. This is, and you can see there, you just, you fill in the blank. I think it's a first player to 20 points. So you got points based on how many you match with. And then you just erase it, pull the next card, do it again. Wonderful game. Easy to play online if you're having an online gathering. Love playing that there. It's always been a hit with my family, my nephews and nieces. It's so funny sometimes seeing the difference in generations, and some of the answers are always crack me up. So number 8, Blank Slate, an excellent game for your next holiday gathering or your party gathering as well. Moving right along, number 7, Pictomania. Oh boy, a real-time game. I love this game. So, drawing games can be sort of hit and miss, I think, sometimes with certain players. This one's fun because it's just chaotic, but it's a fun chaos. Everyone has different clues that they're trying to draw, and in real time you're drawing that, but you're also looking at what everyone else is drawing and trying to figure out what is that, and then you make guesses. And if you're early in the guess and you're correct, you're gonna get more points. If you're later, you don't get as many points. And you'll see there, we're watching our friends Tantrum House play it on the video here. A, B, and C. You have those 3 different columns of guesses or clues. So what is everyone drawing? And you can sort of suss it out. But so I always love drawing games with players that cannot draw. That's me, by the way, because it's just hilarious to see what they come up with. People who can draw, it's fun. It's awesome to see. For me, it's awesome to see their drawing abilities. Like, wow, I could never have drawn something like that. Me, I'm all about stick figures and stuff like that. It's so much fun. This is a game that's been around for a while. Let me see, what years did this come out? This is 2011, so almost over 10 years now. Again, look at that name, Vlada Shvalte. I butchered again. I'm sorry, Vlada, but he does some heavy games, like through the ages, and yet he's got a couple of games here on this list. So it really shows his range and ability. I think it's awesome. This is so fun, and once there are different levels of difficulty ramps up, and it's hilarious. Always a fun game. Always. I think all of these games that are on the list, they always have those moments where it's like just big time laughter, and that's what you want in a party game. That's why it's my number 7, Pictomania. Next up, let's go on to number 6, friends. Cash and Guns. Now, this one I love. This is a game that I got when I first got in the hobby. And you know what's funny? I got to shout out Monique and Naveen. Before I even knew them, so we're all in Southern California. There's a local convention called Strategicon. And they have a math trade, and they also have a flea market. And I think either we math traded or I might have bought it off them. But before I even knew who they were, I got my copy of Cash and Guns from them. And I think I still have it. But I remember meeting them and saying hello. And then we didn't know. I don't know if they were doing content then. I was just a writer. But anyways, my copy is from before you played. So I don't know if they remember that. But this game, it's basically like, remember there's scenes in like some Tarantino movies, and which he copped over from Hong Kong action movies, where there's always that, people facing off with guns. In Reservoir Dogs, there's that famous scene, everyone's like pointing guns at each other. This is basically Reservoir Dogs in the game of board game edition. You have these foam guns. It's really playful. And what you're doing, you've just gotten back from a heist, you and your fellow robbers, and there's treasure or money and jewels and whatnot. And then on the count of 3, you're going to point guns at, and you're playing cards. You're either playing a blank or a bang. So if you play a blank, you're pointing at someone, you're not actually shooting them. But if you hit a bang and you get shot, then you take a point of damage. You're out for the round, basically. So whoever's left at the round gets to go through and get their choice of money or jewels. There's also some special abilities and one-time things. It's hilarious. It's a lot of fun. The theme, this one, I'm a little shaky on the theme. I know this is probably not something you want to play with kids or people who are sensitive, is like, pointing fake guns at each other. So I want to recognize that. Maybe this hasn't aged well, but I'm a fan of those old old movies, and it always reminds me of Reservoir Dogs, or a movie with like from the Hong Kong era, Chow Yun Fat, John Woo movies where everyone's pointing guns at the same time, and then you have one person remaining who gets all the goodies. Hilarious game, a lot of fun. We've played a lot family-wise. Again, be sensitive to the subject matter with your family, but I recommend Cashing Guns. That's why it's my number 6. Let's move on to number 5. Now, Pit. Talk about an old school game. Friends, if you're watching the video, look at the year of this. This game was published in 1903, and it's still being published to this day. I think it's a Winning Moves Games, but this is a game that's been around for a century, and I still think it's a wonderful party game. So Pit, my number 5 party game of this year. I mean, I still love playing this game. It is, I don't know, how do you describe it? Sort of like Go Fish, real-time Go Fish. You're trying to collect a set. You're trying to, corner the market on a commodity, wheat, whatever. So you have cards that represent all the commodities. Let me bring up a picture of this here. Let's see. Here's one, and I love the version that has the bell. That's the version I have, the deluxe. So what you're doing is everyone has a hand of cards. You have sugar, soybeans, whatever. What you're doing is like, just in real time, it always devolves into screaming. You're seriously like being in the stock market, in Wall Street, right? The stock exchange. So you're going, I need wheat, two wheat, or you're looking for wheat, or I'm looking for sugar, and you're just frantically. And then when someone has it, they'll trade you. You can trade for goods. Like, I got sugar, I got wheat, trade, real time, boom. It's all happening. And when you collect, I think it's 8 cards. You ring the bell, you say, corner the market on sugar, and you show all the cards, and you score, in this case, 65 points or whatever. And it's a race to, 1,000 points, 500 points or whatever. It's hilarious. If you ever want to, I love that movie Trading Places back in the 80s with Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy. I always love that end scene. This feels like that. You are just trading, and it's crazy how this game was done 100 years ago at the start, when the stock market was just evolving, right? And now, a century later, we can still play it. It's hilarious. It's fun. Kids love it. Adults love it. I'm going to be honest. It gets really loud because you're just yelling trying to get those. So there is a silent version as well. There's a silent version you can play, which, we enjoy playing it as well. But, if you've never played Pit, and I hadn't played this until I was an adult. I didn't even know what it was. There's so many different versions. This is the one I eventually got. I have played it now for 20 years or something like that, but I never played it as a kid. I never knew what it was, and I don't remember how I found it. It was before I got into modern board games. It was before I got into the hobby, but I still have my copy with the bell. I just love ringing that bell when you're done, and the kids always loved it, and that's why it's my number 5 party game, Pit. Okay. Moving right along, let's go on to number 4. It is Vegas Wits and Wagers. So Wits and Wagers, at any good family gathering or any good party or Thanksgiving we've got coming up, there's always going to be trivia fans. And I think this is the best trivia game out there. Trivia, or Vegas Wits and Wagers, it takes the Wits and Wagers formula, which is they're going to give you a question, and it's always going to be, the answer is always going to be in the form of a number. Like, what year was the first Superman comic published? So then everyone has a little whiteboard, secretly write their answer, you put them down, then you reveal at the same time, then you arrange them, in this case, on the little, almost like a craps table layout, and then you arrange them, and then you're going to place bets. You're going to bet on which one you think is the right answer. So even if you don't know the right answer, that's cool. You just need to know who knows the right answer. So, you know, there's always going to be like certain questions like, oh, I think Michelle knows this about this topic, or Lauren knows this about this topic, so I'm going to bet on their answer. And then depending on where it is on the board there, you'll get 3-1, 4-1, 5-1 odds. It's awesome. And the Vegas edition, what that does is adds an element, it just adds more gambling to it, right? And it has this, I backed it on Kickstarter years ago. It has this beautiful mat. It's huge, oversized play mat, and it is, you know, you can bet on black or red, or basically, you know, what answers, what group of answers you want to bet on. You can also bet on specific players and get like, you know, odds on that, better odds on those people. You play 7 rounds and it's over. Whoever has the most money wins. What I did, I don't know if so we're watching the video we did a couple of years ago on our Twitch live stream. Did we? No, okay, we're still using the basic chips there. Maybe I don't know. Wait, did I change those out? Because we now have poker chips. We actually use actual poker chips in ours. So like these thick and sturdy chips. So much fun. Oh, I love this. This was an ongoing hit with our family. I think it's going to be replaced though by my number 1 game on this list real soon. So we'll talk about it in a second. But Vegas and Wits and Wagers, excellent game, especially if you have trivia fans in your party. Okay, let's go on. Number 3, Telestrations. Oh man, oh man. Now in the video, we're actually showing off Telestrations Upside Drawn. I actually like this one better. This one is such a unique twist on it. But I'm going to describe Telestrations, the original, because it is fantastic. It is it's one of the greatest gateway games ever, because everyone can play this. As long as you play the old game Telephone, back when you were a kid, you'll know how to play Telestrations. Everyone has a card. You're going to roll a die and pick a random, you know, or a topic that's or phrase or whatever on that card. And you're going to draw it on your little board or your little book. And then what you're going to do is pass that book to someone else. They're going to guess. Well, they don't know what you're drawing, right? They're going to try to make a guess, and they write that down. And it's like a flip book. So then they flip that over, pass the next person. The next person is going to see what that person wrote as their guess, and they're going to draw it. So you can see, especially again, I love drawing games when you can't draw, like myself, because by the time it comes back around to you, you'll see something like, maybe you start with, you know, a dog. And then, you know, by the end of it comes back around and people are guessing, oh, it's a lion or it's a spaceship or whatever. Those Telestrations has had some of the biggest laughs in my group, family and friends. Some of the biggest laughs ever, because, and I actually just played this recently. So I'm recording this on November 18th, 2022. Earlier this week, I was at a holiday party, the first holiday party of the year, sponsored by the Op, who does Telestrations. Funny thing. They had Telestrations on the table. A bunch of us played. Oh, some of the biggest laughs ever. And I love playing with gamers. I love playing it with non-gamers. And I love teaching it. It's so easy to play. It's wonderful. And Telestrations Upside Drawn takes the same formula. But now what you're doing, one person has a pen. They place it on the little dry erase board. The other there's going to be a team where one person moves the dry erase board while the other just holds the pen, trying to get them to guess what it is. Oh, it's such a cool twist. It's amazing. A good game got better. So, but you cannot go wrong with either of them. The recommendation for me, if you're new to the Telestrations world, is get the original. That's why it's number 3. And it's interesting. If you look on the credits here, it's been around since 2009, so 12, 13 years. But the credit, it's uncredited. There's no game designer because it's basically Telephone, that kids game that we all played back in the day. So number 3. Now we're getting to our number 2, the top 2 dogs in the party games tag category. Just one. This was probably my number 1. I think this was my number 1 party game last year and years previously. It's an ongoing just classic. modern classic as well. It won the Spiel a couple of years ago from Repo's production 4 years ago. You can see here watching the video. This is all our friends from Meeple University. They're playing. One player, the active player, is going to have a card in front of them. They cannot see the answers, and then people are they're going to randomly choose one. Everyone else knows one, and what they are. Everyone else knows the answer, and they're trying to get the active player to guess that. And what everyone's doing on their little easels, they're going to write a one-word clue. Now, the active player closes their eyes or looks away. The other players, without speaking, they compare their answers. If an answer matches, they erase that. So you want to be unique in your answers, but not too unique where the player remaining cannot guess the clue. So it's this really fun mix, right, of clue giving and clue guessing, and can you get just the right specific clue for someone to guess the answers? And this is another game, like all these party games, they all have that big moment of laughter. And this is great because it's a cooperative game. Now there is a little, if you don't like being the active player and trying to guess, I'm sure you could skip over a player or whatever, but it's a fun thing to do both ways. It is tough to guess, but it's a really neat exercise, right? What clues can you give that'll be perfect for that person? And Michelle and I, we've had so many laughs about this. We played one time with To Live in Nice in LA, Amanda Panda, Ben Osteen, and Steph, and we did something where it was The Godfather was the clue, or Godfather. So everyone's like putting clues from the movies and stuff like that, and then Michelle had written down the word Ninong, Ninong, which is a Tagalog or Filipino word for Godfather. And then we realized, that's probably not in the spirit of the rules. So we had to make a rule, okay, no Tagalog during the game, or English only during the game. But again, moments like that, even when you flub stuff or mess stuff up, it's always a good time, and it's wonderful. And that's what these party games do. They create these memorable moments that you'll for a lifetime. I have moments like that with my nephew and nieces, and family members. Always have a great time with Just One. And speaking of Just One, we have just one more game that tops the list. And this was a surprise. I love this game from the get-go. It's a brand new game. And in fact, I believe it's in stores now. But my number one party game, is Ready, Set, Bet. I'm a huge fan of John D. Clare. I'm a huge fan of AEG. And this game, wow, from the moment I played it, it was just excitement through the roof. And this is the one I was talking about. Now, it's going to replace stuff like Wits and Wagers as far as it captures that gambling spirit, right? You are placing bets in real time in a horse race that's happening in real time. The horse race is controlled by dice. You're just rolling dice, moving the horses along. But those horses move in different depending on the numbers, in order to flatten the curve, right? Because number 7 is always going to be rolled the most. Flatten the curve. If the other horses get rolled twice in a row, like the number 6, they're going to move extra spaces. So really, like the number 2 or 3, those are really, rolled less frequently. You roll that twice in a row, they're going to jump up a bunch of spaces. So it sort of helps mitigate some of the dice rolling. Now, you're going to place the bets on who you think are going to cross the finish line first, second, and third. That's win, place, and show. And then you're going to resolve those bets by, earning money depending on what you placed on there. Now, sometimes you're going to lose money depending on what space you put. But here's the thing. Oh, man. Every game I've played has always got, just like Pit, has become just a shouting match. And you'd never think you would get into like a horse race like this. But no. Every single game I played, everyone's like, go number 4, come on, roll 4. Oh, it's comedy. It is so much fun. And there are different exotic bets you can place. Like you can place, if you think a blue horse is going to win, or orange horse, there's a couple of horses for each color. You can bet on who's going to finish in certain positions. There are exotic bets that come out, like number 3 is going to finish ahead of number 5. And then there are the player cards. You're going to have 2 different cards. The first one is a special bet that you can do, like, each one comes out before each race. You can do that special bet. And what's neat is every single bet, there can only be one player token, right? So you have to rush there to what you want to place a bet on. But of course, you don't know how the race is going to go, right? I mean, it is determined by dice, but as the race evolves and continues, you sort of have a good idea who's going to win. But did you place your betting token in time? You never know. And then finally, there's the VIP cards. These are the gamer touch to it. So the VIP cards, and you can totally leave this out if you're just playing with super casual gamers or first timers. Leave that out if you want. But the VIP, I think, is what makes it a game for gamers. You have special abilities. So if a certain number comes rolled, you're going to get money. If there's some things that you can allow you to take an extra betting token, so you get an extra bet in. There's another ability that lets you place a betting token on another betting token, so you're not blocked off like other players. Oh my gosh, it's so good. It seriously rocketed right to the top of my list here. And remember earlier, I was talking about the game Green Team Wins. That should have been on this list. That would have been really close to the top as well. But Ready, Set, Bet, for my money, folks, is the best party game out there. So check that out. Did I talk about how to win? Whoever wins the most money. It's like a day at the races. I think you do 4 races. They go by really quickly. And I think each game I've played, and this game plays well at high player counts. I played an 8-player game and it took 40 minutes. I played, games as low as I think 4 players, took 30, 35 minutes. It's quick for what it is. Everything's in real time, so it just moves so quickly, and it really does feel like a day at the races. I had a lot of fun playing this with the brothers Murph, Paula Deming, Manapan, and John Gonzalez. We had a really good time playing it with the brothers Murph. We had a live stream. Oh, so much fun. But there you go, friends. My top 10 party games. Thank you for watching. Let me know what your top 10 party games are, and drop them in the comments below. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Until next time, I'll see you later. Go play some party games. All right, bye.